Alright guys, we got the trunk pull down fixed on this 94 Town Car. Now we need to work on this window because it's just doing the door lock. The running, but the window's not working. I don't want to go down because it might take it down. I don't want the glass in my way down there, but we got just the motor spinning, glass not moving, which tells us that it needs torque pins again. So I've got the tools laid out that I think that I gotta have to get this door panel off. It's been quite some time since I worked on one of these, and as far as I can remember, this is the first time that a window has gone bad in this car since my aunt and uncle bought it in 1995. So I want to look at this camera just to make sure. Yeah, I think I'm on it good enough to where you guys can see it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pry on the front of this window switch, seat switch, door lock bezel. We're going to pry it up. And these things are hard to get out without breaking. The plastic on these is really brittle, so let's hope nothing happens. Hold up on the front and out on the back. And nothing broke. See these metal clips in here? These three tabs squeeze down in there. Okay. Now we've got Phillips screws to take off these switches from the bezel. This plastic in this year of Lincoln's was really bad about breaking, so just be extremely careful with this and do not over tighten these. All the way 90 through 97, these plastics were just so brittle that the switches just for no reason would break off and fall down inside the door panel. So far these are looking like they are in pretty good shape, but I'd hate to say that too loud. I no more had that video up on replacing that power trunk pull down and got a thumbs down, so I don't know what somebody disliked about that video. I thought I did the best that I could explain how to replace one of those, explaining how they work, but apparently someone didn't like it. Alright, we're just going to lay this stuff down in here. There's a screw right up in here we're going to take out. There's the air ride kicking on. Okay, there's one screw right here. I always lay these screws out in the floor, kind of in the position that they're in the door panel, so I remember exactly what screw goes where. That's another one of my pet peeves, is going to work on something and somebody's got the wrong screw in the wrong place. So I'll lay this one, you know, outside that way. And then this one, there's another one over here just like that you guys can't see. I laid all the switch ones together because they're all the same. And this one is just like that one, but I'm going to lay it just on the inside of the car, so I know to put it right back in that same hole. Now, these little covers are almost impossible to get off without breaking. They've got a tab at the top and a tab at the bottom. I always use one of these little picks like you see me using a lot, and I always say, go at it from the bottom. That way, in case it does put a nick in it or mark it up a little bit, it's going to be on the bottom and not on the top where it shows. So you got to try to get underneath it and pry downward and then up like that. That one doesn't seem to have broken. Same with this one. That one, see, that one did break the little tab off right there. I didn't even see it fall though. So I don't know. It seemed to be on there pretty good, but I'll probably, when I go to put this back on, you always want to put the top on first and then clip the bottom. So I'll probably just put a little dab of super glue or something there just to make sure that that stays intact, because you see so many of these cars that those are gone on. Then you got a screw behind each one of those, and they are just by themselves too, a different kind of screw by themselves. Again, I'm going to lay them in order down there. I don't remember what we're getting into on this window motor itself. I don't remember if we have to drill holes to get to the bolts like you do in some Lincolns. Sometime in the 90s, I think they started having them pre-drilled or pre-stamped. So I think that's all the screws. And then we'll have a light socket here we got to twist out. But this door panel, I think you can just get a hold of and pull. Don't seem like it was very tight. I probably should find... Okay, and then just pull it around here. I probably need to get some new door panel clips before I put this back on. And we're just going to twist this light socket out of here. And I'll set this door panel over here out of the way. I'll show you. Yeah, these are really wore out. That just happens after the years, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 of those, so I need to get several packages of those before we put this back on. Okay. Well, this isn't ripping, so that's a plus. Let's go ahead and get these wires and things pushed through their holes so we can get this thing folded up. I always just kind of tuck that in there and hold it up out of the way. Okay, I think what's going on here is we need to drill out these 3 rivets. We're going to knock the centers out and then drill them out in order to get to these screws. So let me get a hammer and a punch and a drill bit and get that thing out of there. I don't want to take the whole window regulator out because it's a pain in these cars. The window regulator is riveted down here and it's riveted to the glass. So we're going to try to not have to take it all the way out. Let me get some tools. Okay. got a hammer and a punch. We're going to knock these centers out. All right. Now we're going to drill the rivets out. It's nice if you can get those to not spin, but they're going to spin. Let me try this one. Go at it softer. That one come off. Thought that one was going to go before it spun. It's almost off there. Now let's see. I'm going to grab a rag and see if I can hold onto that and keep it from spinning because it's hot. All right, let's see if I can get on that, keep it from moving. Probably not. Ah. Well, that did work. Can I do it with this one? I'm going to go ahead and unplug this motor right now. Okay, all three off there. Now I'm going to pause it again and I'm going to vacuum up this mess right here so I'm not tracking it everywhere, and I'm going to get these, what's left of the rivets, out of here. And I'm going to put a shop vac down to the door and vacuum out what we punched out of there. I'm going to get all that done, and then I'll come back and we'll get this motor fixed. Okay, I got the mess all vacuumed up. I got everything vacuumed out of the door. Got these, what was left of the rivets, out of these holes. And just remember that this hook right here is what's holding this up, this whole thing, this metal bracket. So we're going to aim it over this way, and I got a light in here, but you see that metal, or I mean that screw right there, it's got the square head screw. You can get to that one there, or you could even get to it through that hole. And then you can see the others, like right in that hole, you can see that one. and then you can get to the other one down low in there. And I've got one of those square bits here. It's a little small, but I tried it and it's going to work. And if you don't have one of these, you can actually get just like a flat screwdriver that's just the right size that would go in there from corner to corner and screw those out, because they're not tight. In the later ones, they used Torx. This is 94. I believe in 95, 6, 7, they used a Torx head bolt in these. So I'm going to get this set back up and try to get these out so you guys can see what we do. And you want to make dang sure that that pulley with the cable on it doesn't come out of the regulator. So it's tedious. Let me get it set back up on the tripod. Okay, let's see what happens here. I'm going to go after this one first. These go through this metal bracket and all the way through the motor and into the regulator. I don't remember fighting it that much. Let's get around the regulator there. Put that one there. Now, I can see this one. And these are all this exact same length. Now I'm going to go after this one through this hole. And I think that once that's loose, one of these, now that one's got to go ahead and come all the way out. Just remember, when you go to put this bracket back on, it's got to be up here in this little spot right here. I think it's out. Okay, we got the bracket and this bolt out. So there's the bracket. Like I said, this goes in here like so. When it's in there, that hook goes right there. So when you're putting it back on, make sure you get it positioned right. Now, this is where you got to be extremely careful when you separate the motor from the regulator. You do not want this pulley coming out that's got the cable on it out of the regulator. You want it to stay in there. That one's actually encased in there, so that's good. A lot of them are not, so that one can't come out. So that's a good thing. So here's where our problem's at, is inside this motor. So, and it's got a Torx in it. So we're going to take it over there on the workbench. We're going to open this up. We're going to clean all the broken pieces out. and put some new ones in. But let me see if you guys can see in there. See that pulley is encased. I'm trying to make sure. I think you guys can see it. But see, it's totally encased inside there, so that pulley can't come out. So that's good. That's not the case if the regulator has been replaced. I know for a fact this is the original Ford one. It's never been out. So let's get over on the workbench and get this thing set up so we can swap out these torque pins. All right, this is a T15. We're going to take this little screw out of the top. Set it aside. Then this should pop right off. So I can get under it. See, this thing's just, these little torque pins are just crumbled to dust. Which isn't bad for a 1994. Of course, it's only got 71,000 miles on it. It's never set outside. You can pry the little metal gear right up out of there. Just try to get all that stuff out of there that you can, those little pieces. I need to find like a little brush because this thing, those little pieces are all down in these gears. I've never seen one crumble up quite that bad. Let's see, what can I find? Well, I got a big wire brush, that should help some. I don't really know that this is all that important. If it was mine, I'd probably slap it back in there and go with it, because as much as it's ground this up, it's just going to continue to turn it to powder anyway. Okay. I want to make sure you guys can still see what I'm doing. And there's a little bit on that shaft. And there's still a little bit down here in this worm gear, which again, it's crumbling up so bad I don't think it's ever going to hurt anything. I'm going to set that in there. Now, I'm going to grab the grease gun, because this one's really dry. Usually these Fords have really plenty of grease down in here, but I'm going to squirt some right down in there. There. Now when that takes off that worm gear, I'll just spin that all right down in there and get all around it. So here's our new torque pins. You need 3 of them. I get these off eBay now. They cost very little. And we're just going to kind of position them in here. A lot of people make comments on Facebook and say, oh, I always just use metal nuts. Well, I did too. Back when I was a kid, before I even knew you could buy these things. But I can tell you one thing, once that I've ever replaced one of these, I've never had to do it a second time. Because if you watch Adam's videos, he talks about how I show him how you just tap that switch once or twice to take all the slop and play out. And you don't ever have to replace these things again. That went in there pretty easy. Sometimes you got to take that over to the vise and get it to go in. Once they get around the corners, it goes right in. But that first initial getting it in there is not always that easy. But that one went in real simple. So that's what it is. Those 3 torque pins right there. See, now it's tight. No slop at all. Those get all busted up and crumbled, and then the big gear turns, and then this one just stays stationary. That's why the motor's running, but the window's not moving. But it will now. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands and get this camera set right back up over there on the other tripod. Get this thing put back in. Okay, so we're going to set that motor in there like that. Remember, this wire is coming around right where it goes into this plug. So this is how it was. So we're going to go back in here, try to get it started into the regulator. Just got to twist it back and forth until you get these splines to line up in the regulator. Seems to have gone back on there. Okay. Now we got to get our bracket. I say it's going to go on here, like so. Holding that thing in there just right. I'm sure my head's probably in the way, but I gotta see what we're doing here. I'm gonna try to start that bottom one first. Okay, I think I got it started. Now, remember we went through this square hole here to get to this one. I don't think that this head will go through there. It won't, so I'm going to have to get it from the inside. I got a fly buzzing around me, driving me nuts. I put this light down in here so I can see better, and I don't think it's helping much at all. Well, see if we can get to this one first. Now this one should be lined up. And you could look through that hole and see it. Well, I tightened that one up a little bit too early. I need that to spin a little. Believe it or not, you can see right through this hole where you're going. I'm going to hold it right back up here. Go through here to tighten it. And we can go through here to snug this one. I think. No, we can't. Won't reach. And through this bottom hole to get on this one. Now, remember, we're going to hang this hook right here. That's where we need to be. We got to put our rivets back in here. Now, if you don't have a big fancy rivet gun like this, you can definitely use nuts and bolts. Just go to the hardware store, wherever you get them. You can put this right back in with nuts and bolts. Just remember to hold it up tight there. Once you get the first one, the rest of them are up there pretty dang snug. All right. Before you try anything, remember to get the light out. And when you do that, nothing falls in the bottom of the door. All you get is this centerpiece that comes out and falls on the floor. So there's nothing else to get out of the door. Bring your wire around. Plug the motor back in. I am going to grab some grease. Doesn't feel like there's a whole lot in here. turn the key back on and try it. You just want to spray this stuff up here, right here where this guide goes. And that's about it. Try not to get it on the glass. There it goes, just like that. Remember, like I said, always just bump that 2 or 3 times before you go down. Stop before you get to the bottom. Don't let it slam down in the bottom of the door. Going back up, do the same thing. Take any little slack out of it. You'll never have to replace those again. Go all the way to the top. Right before you get to the top, just bump it up. Don't slam it up in there. That's all there is to it. Let me back this up. There it is. Okay, now this is Memorial Day, Monday, and I don't want to put this door panel back on until I get some new clips, so I'm going to wait until tomorrow, because Napa, like AutoZone, is probably still open right now, but you got to buy like 3 in a package for a ridiculous price. And how many did I count? Like 13 that I needed. And I can buy packages of, I believe, 10 at Napa. So we're going to leave this like this till morning. And I'll be back and we'll put this door panel back on. We can shut the door, get that away from there so it doesn't melt anything. So in the morning, after I get these new clips, we'll put this door panel back on. Hey, check it out. So I was thinking I had some of these around here, and I found 2 packages. This is the part number you need from Napa, 6652342. There's 6 in a package. We need 13. But we're going to do all of them except, say, this center one down here. We'll replace all the rest of them. And then that way it'll work out. We can get this finished up this evening. And that's one less thing off the list for tomorrow. So let's replace these. Definitely want to get the corner ones. Actually, I think I'll leave this one right here. Can you see what I'm pointing at? I'm going to leave this one right here because it's got a screw holding it up at the top, and it's got one down here. And then that way, the door slams this way, which is going to put more pressure on these. So I'm just going to leave this one and replace all the rest of them. All right. Well, they're going to fight me to go in. that one. I got quite a bit to do tomorrow. We're also going to put door striker bolts on 3 of these doors. I've already replaced the one on the driver's door, and the other 3 need it, and they're supposed to be in tomorrow. So that's another video we're going to do on this car, and then we'll do like a complete walk around and talk about the car and drive it. I see a lot of you guys didn't like my bluegrass video that I put on, but you know what? It's okay, because I gave my buddy Simon a shout out, and I believe he deserved it. You know, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could have swore I counted 13 of these. But we've got enough. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's all there is to it. That's all we need is 11. We got 1 extra. So, let's get this thing put back together. Remember to spin your Domalite socket back in, twist it. That's not wanting to. There we go. Now, feed these back up through here. Let me show you something real quick. When you're putting this back on, let me make sure you can see. You got this little door lock slide knob right here. You want to make sure that it goes right here in this. So leave it all the way unlocked and see that this is pushed up all the way, unlocked, and it should fall into place. But if you don't get it in there, your door lock's not going to work right. Come through here. You kind of push on it before you snap all these on. Seems like it's right, but let's hit the door lock switch. Yeah, it's working like it should. So make sure you get that lined up. Yep, it's working good. So, okay, we got these long ones that go through up here. Make sure you guys are on this door panel. Put our long ones through here. You can definitely tell when those were going on there, they're a lot more snug than those old ones. really, I mean, there's nothing left of those teeth. I guess they just dry rot, and then when you go pull it off, they just snap off. We got this one up here. Snug it up, don't twist it all the way through the vinyl on the door panel. Here's our rear one. Again, you can kind of hear that door panel sucking up against there. It's as far as it needs to go. This little one goes here. And we can put these on and make very, very certain you do not over tighten these. These little chrome studs will crack, just explode. Door lock switch. Even the 95.67s, they were way worse than these as far as the switches just breaking off and falling down inside the door panel. Okay, there's those. Remember, slide the bottom in. Press down on the front. There's that. Now, this is the one that didn't break, so raise it or hook it on the top and just kind of pry out on the bottom and snap it on. Now, remember this one, I don't know where it went, almost like it wasn't there to start with, but we're going to put just a dab of glue. I got some Gorilla Glue. I don't think it's that great of stuff, but that's all I've got. We're going to put it right here on this whole bottom part so it'll touch this. And we'll just hook the top. And push it up against there and hold it for a little bit. It should be fine. and the window should still work. There it is. Pump it all the way down. We're almost all the way down, so stop, and that's all you need to do. So, you know what I'm going to do before this sets up? I'm going to put a little bit up here, even on the top where it didn't break, just to make sure that it does grab. I don't want someone to shut the door and it fall off. So there, hook it on the top, that way it glues the top and the bottom. Appears to be common sense to me. Got a little bit on there. Wipe right off. So there it is, guys. That's all there is to fixing one of these windows. This will be probably 90 to 94, and then like I said, I believe 95, 6, and 7. We know they changed the door panels a little bit. In fact, there's a screw either down here in this corner or up here in this corner of the carpet that you actually have to fill for. I know that that's different. I'm pretty sure that you gotta open this, and I think that this back screw here comes out for the 95, 6, and 7s. I believe they have these same things right here that's almost impossible to get off without breaking. Other than that, it's about the same. I believe that the front pries off of this, and it pulls out from the back just like this one. There's not a lot different. I believe they've even got the screws in the front and the back like that for the 95, 6, and 7. So it's just a little bit different. I'm pretty sure that the holes are already pre-stamped inside the door panel, and they're Torx. They're not those square-headed things like we had to take out. But that's the best way that I know to change these door or these window torque pins without taking the whole regulator out. Like I said, it's riveted to the glass and everything. So if you don't have to change the regulator, don't do it. So again, I hope you like this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. That'll help me out a lot. Thank you very much for watching. And see you tomorrow when we change these door striker bolts. The bushings are gone in 3 doors. So then we're going to talk about the whole car. See you tomorrow.